Hey guys, it's Sister Folk, and I am going to be going over your draft submissions for your creative ad and be providing some video critique. So first of all, I wanted to mention something that applies to a lot of yours. I want you all to make sure that you are including these things in your ad. Okay, you have to have the company logo, preferably placed on a transparent background so you don't have any awkward colors that are layered over your design. You need to have at least 2 images working together on your design. You need to have visual communication of an idea, a headline, body copy, and a call to action. Okay, all 3 of those on your ad. And then you will have 2 different sizes for the ad. Okay, so I'm looking over your drafts, and there are quite a few that are missing these things. So it's extremely important you do that. In addition, I want to remind you to make sure you're still using those design principles that we learned about. Contrast, repetition, alignment, etc. Those are some of the things I'll be grading you on as well. And please, please, please get more creative with your fonts. I'm seeing fonts that I've seen every semester, 20 times every semester. I know you guys don't know what those are necessarily, but when you go in to create your ad, it's fine to select one nice normal one, but then break out of the mold a bit, get something new and different, something that we won't have seen a million times before. Okay, so those are some general critiques that apply to everyone. And then let's go ahead and jump into the actual critiquing process. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Claudia. I really like your design. I like that it's you did a really good job with the right alignment, with a consistent color palette. The only thing is I'm not sure if you have a call to action on here. Oh, yep, you do. Visit us at Fiskars. See, that's a great example. Okay, the other thing then is 2 blended images. I don't know if perhaps you're considering this kind of gradient in the background, a blended image. But right now it just looks to me like you have 1 image on the page and then some effects. So maybe play around with that. Also just a consistency thing. Maybe you stopped it right here to align with these, but I would probably keep it going off the page since generally you cut all the way off a page. So those are the things I would probably work on, is making sure that you have those 2 images as opposed to just the 1. And let me see if there's anything else. It looks like you're missing. Looks like you did a good job with the written aspect of it. So I would just play around a little bit more with the design, perhaps. Maybe add in another dash here if you can, and get that second image in the background. All right, thanks, Claudia. Okay. All right, Heidi. Looks like you have 2 different sizes, which is great. Everyone, make sure you have 2 different sizes. I will immediately say, don't like this font. It's one of those that's creative, and that's why it's been kind of overused. So if you could go ahead and change that out to something different. Also, the choice to have it center aligned down here doesn't bother me, but it looks kind of simple up here, like in not a good way necessarily. And so I might play around with a different alignment. It's fine to have your image center aligned, but then have your typefaces not center aligned, because remember, in almost all cases in this class, we will be avoiding center alignment. So even though that might generally work for this, I think it'd be great to change it up. The other thing is, I like how you have your idea, your concept is really good. I would probably just go in and clean up this selection a little bit. Just zoom in really close and eliminate this black part and that black part where you have a little bit of maybe the background or the shadow hanging around. And then maybe make the pot a little bit larger. It looks a little small right now. But you're on the right track. You might be able to add some additional effect to this that might kind of make it seem like it was part of this initial image a little bit better. But you're definitely heading the right direction. Let me see. You have to use the best to achieve the best. So this is kind of your body copy. I don't see a call to action. So this is almost a call to action. You have to use the best to achieve the best. More, it's a slogan though. So I would probably perhaps switch this out for a call to action. For example, get the best at Target, you know, or wherever you want it to be. Okay. So heading in the right direction, just play a little bit around with that. Also, I don't feel like there's a ton of white space. Might be a little bit tricky to add that in. We could perhaps increase the transparency on this so it's more transparent to kind of give the eye a bit of a visual break right here. Maybe pick it up with a white or something so it flows a little bit more. Because right now it's feeling a little bit busy. Okay? So I look forward to seeing your edits. Thanks, Heidi. All right. Becca. Okay, I just gave you a few edits on this, actually on your draft critique today, but I am, wait, you didn't ask for any. Wait, did you? I don't think so. I don't think you opted in. Rebecca. Nope. Okay. Forgot what I was doing for a second. Jonathan. Nope. Chantel. Nope. Okay. Charles. Nope. Clarissa. Nope. Jonathan. Yes. All right. Sweet. Let's go ahead and take a look at yours, Jonathan. Okay. So I see you have 2 images here, which is really good. Count sheep, not time. Pillows from bed gear. Okay, try to find a logo here that it doesn't have this background in it, because right now this is looking awkward to have the transparency increasing with like a gradient effect, but not right here. It's definitely obvious that these weren't created together. So I would either make this all black or figure out if you can upload a logo that will allow you to have a background. But speaking of gradients, I will say they're not generally used anymore, especially for kind of contemporary filling design, which is what we're going for. And so I would probably recommend not using that gradient anyway. It does to me look like there's something a little bit weird going on right here. Maybe your background image or your shape box doesn't go all the way off the page. So make sure it does, because see this little white line here? That's a little bit weird. Also, I'm not getting a strong color vibe here. It's just all kind of monochromatic, which could be a choice, but it's not feeling super cohesive to me. So, you know, maybe you need to pull out a little bit more of the yellow from this for down here, and then have yellow and blue, have something in blue as well, to just make it feel a little bit more cohesive. Do remember that you need to have 3 written things on here: your headline, body copy, and a call to action. So that would say, count sheep, not time, purchase a pillow from Bed Gear Performance, and maybe an additional sentence about pillows, softer than whatever. Okay. When it comes to the actual design, this feels like it needs to be maybe skewed a little bit or rotated a little bit, so it feels like it's a bit more placed within alignment of the kind of angle. So you can go into Edit, Transform, and do that, or you can adjust or you can apply your transform box and play around with the shape and the placement of this a little bit more. Okay, you maybe want to put a shadow on it or do something like that, so it feels a little bit more like it's a part of this original image. You did a really good job with your selection, though. I feel like that's really nice and crisp. So good job there, and you're definitely communicating your message well. So you're on the right track. Just keep on working. Down here really needs some work. you have to remember the rules of design, right? So we definitely do not want center alignment. That's a major no-no at this point. Have a strong left or right alignment, contrasting typography. Try to see if you can find on the font a font that kind of matches this one. And then you can play a little bit more around with contrasting typefaces. So you could have 2 typefaces down in this section as opposed to just the one that's all the same size. Because this is kind of the area where it's looking a little bit more like it needs some help, a little bit more amateurish than the rest of it. Okay, so keep on working on that, and I look forward to seeing what you turn in for your final, Jonathan. Okay, let's see who's next. Tess, you asked for a video critique, so let's take a look at yours. It's funny, it almost made me think of IKEA when I first glanced at it with the yellow and the blue. Okay, I like that you have some contrasting typography here. That's really good. You have strong right alignment. I would almost move 1 or 2 of these words down here so it's more boxy as opposed to having just these lone 2 words floating in here. Also, I would, let's see, use a pillow that will help you sleep. That could be considered a call to action. So maybe you just need to have one, because this is probably your headline, so 1 additional sentence about the pillow. You did a good job placing the logo in, but this line feels really awkward to me. Remember, you don't want to place anything that is floating where it would not normally be floating. So to have a bed kind of floating here is a little bit confusing. So I would probably move this down and, oh, that's funny. This is actually really clever. I like that he's dreaming about himself dreaming. Okay, cool. That was a clever idea. But maybe consider moving this dude over here to the left. So you have these 2 lines on a place where there's naturally 2 lines. And then you right align this stuff right here, kind of in this empty space, which will then be over to the right. Okay. Also, I think it might be cool if you could get rid of a little bit of the cloud between the edge of his thought bubble and him. So you're kind of having a little bit more crisp image for what he's dreaming of. Because right now it looks a little bit confusing with the dark clouds going inside as well as on the outside. Okay, so try to keep this looking a little bit more crisp. And then you could maybe move this because it doesn't make too much sense that it's right on his elbow. Okay, so I think part of the solution, I think the solution will be to find a good placement for this image, which naturally seems like it would be over here. And you can work on aligning this a little bit more. This looks like there's a little bit too much space between these for me. So I would probably decrease this spacing using your paragraph palette. And then it'll free up a little bit more room to have your logo and an additional sentence about your product. Okay? I like your color scheme, and you're definitely heading in the right direction. Thanks, Tess. All right, next is Cynthia. You opted in. Okay. Let's see. That's just the one. Okay. Let's take a look here. I really love your idea. I think it's very creative. It's like the bone inside him is a wrench. Brilliant. Okay. You have a nice logo here. I really like your typeface up here. This is really nice. I would probably add a period after home. And this is actually the same issue for the one we were just having before. You never want to cut something off where it wouldn't already be cut off by something that makes sense or by the edge of the page. So you probably need to either enlarge this arm or move it to so it's on the edge of the page right here, or create something that makes sense that it's cutting off his arm. So I would think your best choice would probably be enlarging this. If you didn't do that, the edge of the arm would be right here, and then the hand would be more on this side. So maybe then you align the necessary tools in your home over here, okay? If you made it a lot bigger, you might need to move your logo somewhere else. So, because I like having the crisp edge of the black all around. I would also zoom in a little bit. You got some bumpy selection here. So I would just kind of zoom in and try to clean that up, okay? And then I like where you're going with having a creative paintbrush, but in a way it's kind of trapping your eye in the page visually. And I think it would look nicer to probably do something different with it. Maybe you have it just a line here or a line under this, or I don't know, play around with it a little bit. But I think having go all the way around, there's a little bit of space where your eye can get out, but you're really just encouraging trapped white space on the page by having this go all the way around. So try to figure out if there's something else that you could do that would still add any element, but not necessarily have it go all the way around the page. Let's see. I didn't know if that would be too much. Wrench look more like bone. I think it's definitely visually implied that it's a bone. The wrench is a bone. So I don't know if you need to change your slogan too much or to make it go better with my slogan. The power is in your hand. Oh, and remember, you do need to have a call to action. So the necessary tool in any home, period, buy it or something. Okay, so be sure to add that in so you don't miss points for that. Right? I like where you're heading, Cynthia. All right, next person. There's Andrews, Grayson. I think you opted in and you did. Excellent. Okay, you had a clever idea, Grayson. I definitely like what you're working with and where you're going. I think we just need to kind of fine tune definitely your placement of everything, the sizing and your typeface selection, maybe the background. Background feels a little blah to me right now. Maybe you could find something on a stock image that would be like a concrete background or some kind of metal or brick that would make it look a little bit more visually interesting. Right now, this light bluish gray kind of feels a little bit blah to me. I like this font down here a lot. Don't like this one. This is like a movie marquee font. Kind of think of like 1920s, like majestic theater type movie. And so I probably would get rid of this in favor of something like grungier like this. But every typeface you're using is all caps and a little bit too similar to each other. Like if you use this one and this one, they don't contrast enough to work. So I would probably recommend going with this typeface, maybe for the tool you'll need, and then break it up with something really different for last and ever, okay? So maybe, remember, you go with a script or you go with a all lowercase serif, something that is the antithesis of this one, which I think would be good to make this one, right? Hopefully you're following me here. Okay, so play around with that. And remember, you still need to avoid things like orphans or widows. So this little lone need over here definitely needs to probably be bumped up. So it's part of two strong lines that go all the way across the top. You do also need a logo in here. So make sure you have your logo for whatever your rubber band is. And then a call to action. So rubber bands, buy them. Life hackers, bands of rubber. Oh, is this your logo? Oh yeah, I think you made up your own logo brand, right? I think you did. So that's what's going on here. Okay, sweet. So that means you should have this font on your computer already and you can use it even though this is technically your brand logo. Let me know if I'm not right about that, but I think I remember from your draft, that's where you were heading, is you had kind of created your own brand of rubber band. Okay, so that's fine. I might make this a little bit more visually interesting if it's supposed to be a brand logo. Right now it kind of just gets mistaken for a call to action or an additional like body copy, when in fact it's actually this, right? Okay, so work on that a little bit and then make sure you have those additional written elements that you need, like your call to action and a sentence about the body copy. Okay, so you're heading in the right direction. Just keep on working on that. This feels a little bit maybe too big, maybe too close to this and this too. If it's really a logo, then it's okay to have it be smaller. All right. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with, Grayson. Thanks for your submission. Okay, Rhonda, you're next. Hey, TK looking cute. Okay, so I like where you're going with it. You have the two elements working together, which is fun. Logo looks great. This looks great. I think you just need a call to action on here, i.e. purchase it at Williams-Sonoma. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Also, it does look a little weird to have the dog's head end at the words, but have the spoon continue. So I don't know if there's any way you can go into this image of the dog and have his body continue down here so it makes visual sense. Because what you're implying is that the dog is only a head, but the spoon is an actual spoon. Okay, so that's a little bit visually contradicting. Okay, so think about that a little bit. If you can continue to do a selection on the dog down here, that would be great. If not, maybe you need to move this down to the bottom. So just think about that a little bit. Also, I would probably try to fine tune this selection right here. It looks like it's a little bit bumpy. Okay, but your image looks really nice and good. I like how high definition it is around his eyes. All right, and that's a very clever slogan. So I look forward to seeing your final draft, but you're definitely heading in the right direction, Rhonda. Thanks. Okay, Rhonda. Who else? Okay, we just have Paul and Rachel that we still need to find. Paul. Okay. Helping for some helpful input. Not loving your ad yet. Okay. Well, you did a great job finding the logo with a transparent background. That looks really good. I like your font selections down here. I might make the right a little bit larger so it stands out when compared to the and mate. And I would keep that interesting contradicting typography or contrasting typography up here. Okay, so up here you just went with this one, but it looks really strong when you pair it with the contrasting typeface. So I would keep that up. Maybe love stays this creative script, but you come back to this nice sans serif, and mate stays this. I would decrease the amount of space in between them. I think this is too much right now. And what if you have, maybe your is small and love is a little bit bigger, and mate is small as well. So maybe you have love and then your mate on one line underneath it. So play around with that. This is just looking a little bit awkward. I think that's kind of contributing to the problem space right here. Also, a general rule of good design is you don't want to point your eye off the page. So these pens are actually pushing you right off the edge of the page. So I would probably try to play around a little bit, see if maybe you could flip them and make them a little bit smaller, maybe, and have them overlap underneath the P here. So you have love your mate, and then the pens draw you down to the logo. And that's going to increase the amount of white space you have over here, which I think would be helpful too. If you want, you can make your people a little bit smaller as well to increase a little bit of the white space. You're heading in the right direction. Just remember flow. Try to find some areas to align things because there's not a lot of alignment going on right now. So maybe in the middle, it's a nice block of typography that matches on the edges. It's you kind of did that here, but it looks a little bit ragged. So play around with that a little bit. Try to add just a little bit more structure and area for the eye to move naturally in a circle with the white space along the edges. Okay, but you're heading in the right direction. Thanks, Paul. All right, and then last, Rachel. Okay, yours is a really creative take on this, Rachel. I like how you've done that. Let's see. Oh, Paul, if I didn't lose you, make sure you have a call to action. I don't know if I saw one on there. Nope, I didn't. Okay, so make sure you say people need to buy it, where they need to buy it. I think that goes for you too, Rachel. Everything you need for garage and home buyer. Good, you have most of it. Just make sure you say something like, purchase it at Home Depot, something like that, okay? This is really creative and clever. I like it a lot. You're definitely strong design there. I think you just need to work a little bit on your typeface, and the placement down here looks a little odd. I don't know if this yellow on the brown works, and I don't know if I love the brown with the black, actually. I think it might be stronger to go with this kind of bluish color and pump it up a little bit. So you have a blue and yellow color scheme look that would replace the black, or pull and use kind of some of this, but make it a little bit wider, okay, for a background. And I don't know if you need this one up here, but just play around with trying to make this bottom part look a little bit more contemporary, and remember to have contrasting typefaces. So right now you just have this one, and maybe it's bolded down here, but I would love to see a nice, strong, contrasting typeface of some sort that will work against the women can be heroes. Okay, so play around with a little bit of that, add some of the contrasting typeface down here, and that will help you fine tune it. Alrighty, I think that is it for section 10. Let me know if y'all have any questions, and have a great night. Bye.